Hi, welcome to my video on factor bind grouping part 2. Factoring by grouping has 4 terms, and these are the steps that I'm going to follow when I factor these 4 terms. I will group them into 2 pairs. I will factor each pair by removing the monomial GCF, and I'll factor out the binomial GCF. Let's practice some of these. Let me do some examples for you. Here we go. Factor each. Notice I have 4 terms. Notice there's no GCF in all terms, but what I'm going to do is underline this pair and this pair. Notice I'm underlining them because I find that's the better way. I group them into 2 pairs. Now I'm going to take out, in the first pair I see an x, so I'm going to take out the x because it's common. So x squared divided by x is x. xy divided by x is y. And notice right here I have a plus, so we take whatever sign is here, that's what I had to put down, no matter what that sign is. If that's a minus, you put a minus. When I look at these 2 terms, I see an a as a monomial GCF. I take the a out, so ax divided by a is x, ay divided by a is plus y. When you split them into 2 pairs and you take out the monomial GCF, notice now you have a binomial GCF. So in each of these, I have an x plus y, that's common. And if I divide the first expression by x plus y, I get an x. If I divide the second expression by x plus y, I get a plus a. Let's do another one. Notice I have again 4 terms. There's no factor common to all 4 terms. So I split it up into the first 2 and the second 2. In the first 2 I see a d that's common. So I factor out the d. So I get f plus g. D divided into df is f. D divided into dg is g. Multiply back. D times f, df, d times g. Correct. I have a plus here, so I put down a plus. And I look for a common factor. I see a 7. 7 is the numerical GCF. 7f divided by 7 is f. And 7g divided by 7 is a positive g. And when we get that done, I see a binomial GCF of f plus g. So I'll remove the f plus g. And what's left, I get a d plus 7. So this expression divided by f plus g gives me d. This expression divided by f plus g gives me 7. So f plus g times d, there it is. F plus g times 7, there it is. C, let's do another one. Again, we have to break them up into 2 pairs. We got 4 terms, notice. We go 2 and 2. So let's take the first 2, and let's take the second 2. And in these 2, I see an a. A is common, so I take an a out. Ay divided by a is y. Negative a divided by a is negative 1. Notice, I have 2 terms here. I have to have 2 here. So a times y is a times negative 1, negative a. And I have a plus here, so I put down the plus. And I see a b that's common to these 2 terms, so plus b. So positive by divided by positive b is a y. Negative b divided by positive b is negative 1. Multiply back. As a check, b times y is by, b times negative 1, negative b. And I have a binomial GCF that's common. So what's common is y minus 1. When we take the y minus 1 out of this expression, we get an a. When we take the y minus 1 out of this expression, I get a plus b. And D, let's see, again, there's an X here and here, but not over here. There's a G, no, there's no number or variable common to all four terms. So we break it up into two parts. And to do that, we need four terms. In the first two terms, I see an x. That's common. So xg divided by x is g. xh divided by x is plus h. Notice now I have a negative. Because if that sign is negative, then I put a negative. If that sign is positive, I put a positive. Whatever this sign is right here, that's what goes right there. And I check to see I have a 6. But I not only have, again, I have that sign was right here, it goes here. And then I look for a common factor. 6 is common. So now I go back and negative 6g divided by negative 6 is g. Negative 6h divided by negative 6 is plus h. Notice the sign changed. You're taking out the negative. And the common binomial is g plus h is common to both expressions. So what's left is an x. Subtract 6. E. Again, we have x in these three, but not in this one. We have 4 and w in those two, but not in this one. So nothing is common in all four terms. So we split it up into two pairs. And in the first two, I see an x as a GCF. X squared divided by x is x. Negative 4x divided by x is negative 4. And as I said, whatever this sign is, whatever that sign is, that's what goes there. Then I look for the common factor. I got a w and a w, so let's put a negative w. I'm taking it out. So now I go negative wx divided by negative w is x, and a positive 4w divided by negative w is a negative 4. And multiply back. X times x, x squared. X times negative 4, negative 4x. Negative w times x, negative wx. Negative w times the negative 4 is positive 4w. Notice you can say, oh, I have it done right, because what? I have the same binomial GCF, which is x minus 4. If this one binomial is not the same as this, then you have to go back and refactor it, because these two should be the same. And when they are, then in this expression you have an x, and this expression you have a negative w, because x minus w is divided into this one and this one. F, again, we have x's here, here, and here, but not here. We have a b in these two, but not in these two. We have a k in these two, but not in these two. So we have no factor common to all of them. So we break it up into two pairs. There they are. In the first two, I have a x, but not only do I have an x, but I have an x squared, because this x is common, but the smallest exponent is also common. X cubed divided by x squared is x. Negative b x squared divided by b squared is negative b. And multiply back x squared times x, perfect. X squared times negative bx. And I have a plus right here, so I write down a plus. What's common is a k. And plus kx divided by plus k is x. And a negative bk divided by plus k is a negative b. Multiply. K times x, kx, k times negative bk. And do I have the same binomial GCF? Yes. So x minus b is common. And what's left? X squared plus k. Now that means that I have practiced these, showing you my pattern that I do when I work this out. So what you do is you practice this following the same pattern that I'm doing. And because my videos lead from one video to the next video, you have to understand the previous videos to do the next one. And practice means pause the video, work these out. Do one at a time to see if you're going to be okay. Here we go. Factor. No term common to all of them, but we break it up into two pairs. You always check to see if there's a common factor in all four terms, because if it is, you got to remove that first. But it's not. we only do 2 and 2. A is the GCF. A squared divided by A is A. 3A divided by A is plus 3. In the next two, I have a plus and I have a B. So AB divided by B is A, and 3B divided by B is plus 3. And A plus 3 is common, GCF, what's left? Well, you got, in this one you have an A, and in this one you got a plus B. Number 2, again, check. There's a Y in these two, but not in these two. There's an X here, but not, so there's no variable or number common to all terms, so we break it up into two parts. First two, Y is common. Take the Y out. So xy divided by y is x. 9y divided by y is plus 9. And I see a negative, so I put down the negative. I see a negative here, so that's automatically a negative. What's common? I see a t. And negative tx divided by negative t is x. And a negative 9t divided by negative t is a plus 9. When you take out the negative, because it's a negative right there, it's the negative you have to be careful of, because a negative will change this to a positive and change that to a positive. So both of these terms inside of here are pluses because you're removing the minus. So x plus 9 is the common GCF. And what's left? When you take that out, you get a y left. When you take that away, you get a negative t, sorry. Number 3, again, no term, no letter common to all four, so we group them as 2 and 2. So we take x as the first pair, x as a b minus f. We divide x into both of these. And we get a plus, and what's common? I see an h. bh divided by h is b. fh divided by h is f, but it has to be negative. Negative divided by positive is negative. And what's common? b minus f is the binomial that's common. And what's left in the first expression is an x, and the second expression is an h. Hopefully you're doing okay and you're seeing the pattern I'm using. Let's continue. And again, I got a y7, but no y's. I got a z and a z. Nope, nothing common, so I go 2 and 2. Done. The first two, I see a y7. It's common. What's left? Z. What's left? W. And I see a plus right here, so that's a plus. And I see, in these two terms, I see an a common, a to the fourth. And when you divide a to the fourth into a4z, you get a z. And when you divide a to the fourth into a4w, you get a plus w. And again, we got z plus w common, binomial. So we're going okay. So when we take that away, we get a y to the 7. When we take z plus w away from here, we get a plus a to the 4. Again, hopefully doing okay, but the one that causes the trouble is when you got that minus right there. Notice that minus there. Notice the minus is the trouble, not the plus, the minus. So x is common to first three, but not to the last, so no common factor in all four. First two, I take out an x, d. xd, not only x, but there's a d. So when I take xd out, so I get an x, and xd divided into negative xd is negative 1. Two terms here, 2 in here. We got to be careful to have 1. And I have a negative, so I put in a negative, and I see a 7. That's common. So negative 7x divided by negative 7 is x. Positive 7 divided by negative 7 is negative 1. And I have an x minus 1. That's a common binomial, GCF. When you take the x minus 1 out of the first expression, you get an xd. When you take an x minus 1 out of here, you get a minus 7. And number 6. Y, but no y here. So there's a p here and here, but not here. So again, we group them in two pairs. In the first pair, y is common. y squared divided by y is y. Negative 4y divided by y is negative 4. And I got a negative, whatever is here, whatever that sign is, that's what goes there. And I have a p. So I take negative py divided by negative p is y. And positive 4p divided by negative p is negative 4. Again, notice that negative becomes a positive. That positive becomes a negative because you're removing the negative. Negative p times y is negative py. Negative p times negative 4, positive. And common binomial GCF, y minus 4, y minus 4, which means you're doing okay. Because these two should be the same to do the factoring by grouping. And when you take y minus 4 away or divide by it, you get a y left. When you divide this expression by y minus 4, you get a negative p. So we're getting you ready to do the factoring by grouping. This is needed to go on to do the next topic. Students have difficulty in, but I'm be consistent in that. Follow these steps, and when I get to the next type of factoring, you'll be okay following the steps. If you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, notification bell, write a comment if you wish. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. Section of me talks about my degrees and teaching experience. The video section talks about how I'm going to, or what strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the content section has the topics I'm going to have on the YouTube channel and the number of videos on each of those topics. And the black font is what's online right now, and the red font is what will be online in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.